Welcome to Lyme Time. I'm Allie from the Tick Chicks. We are all more than Lyme disease and chronic illness, and together we stand with you to overcome and rise. I'll bring you closer to the experts in cutting-edge treatments and even a few unexpected ways of healing. I'll ask the questions you want answers to regarding Lyme disease and successful ways of getting you closer to 100%. We are in this together and will not be defined by Lyme. Welcome everybody back to Lyme Time. I'm so excited to be here today. And, oftentimes we'll talk about a treatment or a protocol. And what I'm excited about today's guest is that we are welcoming Liza Blas here, and she is the community manager of the Vital Plan Network. Now, what I really want to know from her is what goes on behind the scenes. What can I expect if I join the Vital Plan Network? What can I expect from the Restore 180 kit? How they can help support our community on a daily, weekly, monthly basis as people are going through this. This is going to save you guys a lot of time and money. And if you have a question for your doctor and you're on a protocol, and, all of a sudden your doctor can't see you for 2 weeks, or you're going to have to pay another $300 for a doctor's visit. This is one-stop shopping. It is in conjunction with the Restore 180 Herbal Supplement Kit that Dr. Rawls himself developed after experiencing Lyme carditis and healing from that. So I am welcoming Liza Blas. And she is the community manager of the Vital Plan Network, which is an online platform created by Dr. Bill Rawls' herbal supplement company called Vital Plan. And in her role, Liza champions and nurtures a community of over 7,000 members, all of whom are on a transformational healing journey and striving to reclaim their health through the Vital Plan herbal therapy. Previously, she served as the host of Very Happy Stories, a podcast dedicated to helping mothers navigate the complex path of healing their children from Lyme disease and PANS and PANDAS. Before entering the wellness and advocacy space, Liza was a commercial real estate broker in Chicago. So let's go behind the scenes of the Vital Plan community. So without further ado, welcome to Lyme Time, Liza.
Hi, Allie. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
I know. And, I've seen your face around because, of course, I'm a proud newsletter recipient of a Vital Plan and everything they have going on with their channel and their community and all kinds of supportive things that they have going on over there. In fact, I would step out on a limb and say it's one of the most comprehensive, extensive programs for people with chronic illness. And I say that because you can access it by so many, if you like to read, there's a plentiful amount of in the newsletter. If you like listening, there's also some great check-ins that they can do on a weekly basis. If they want to do it at their leisure, they can go into pre-recorded stuff. And if they want to just have a conversation with somebody, you guys offer that as well. So let's get into it. But before we do, you have a very, extensive experience with Lyme disease. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your own journey and how you came to be in this position at Vital Plan.
Yeah, how did I get here? Yeah, it's extensive. And like so many of your listeners, it's like I lived this Lyme life before knowing I had Lyme, right? So I would say for me, it all started symptom-wise with my thyroid and just having an autoimmune and flaring. And I always thought it was my autoimmune, the Hashimoto, that was causing all of my problems. But now I know that that was all part of Lyme because the medication alone was not working for me. And then in addition to that, I had some serious rise with anxiety and depression. So that's not uncommon with Lyme. And so I kind of fell into working with a chiropractor back in the day who did some testing, and his advice at the time was, you are allergic to wheat, so you need to stay away from all glutens. And actually, that helped me a lot. Enough, I mean, it didn't heal me, but enough to just do life so that I wasn't drowning, just making that elimination. But then, 2 years later, I had an early stage breast cancer completely out of the blue. So these weird random things would happen to me. So then, go down that road of treating it. And then a couple years later, I would have heart palpitations and fainting spells. And we know a lot of this is related to POTS. And I was having tachycardia, almost had 2 ablations done, but was able to kind of do therapy and worked on my nervous system. And I pulled back from work. I had young kids, and I really did a lot of those lifestyle changes, that we're supposed to incorporate. So then I kind of got over the whole tachycardia situation, or actually, it was premature ventricular contractions. And then I had feet issues and serious plantar fasciitis issues, which then I had to have a little surgery on. I mean, it was just one thing after another. And so around this time too, my kids were very ill, and they had their own journey and lots of different symptoms. But through my conversations with the various doctors for my kids, it was determined that they had Lyme and several co-infections. And that is when I was like, wait a minute, this is what I have. So I did finally get tested with Vibrant and did test positive for Lyme, Bartonella, and tick-borne relapsing fever.
Hmm. Wow.
And then, yeah, yeah. So, if it were not for the journey of my kids and just diving deep there. And so at that stage, though, Allie, I was kind of managing. I was not thriving by any means, but I was managing, just with a lot of lifestyle changes, and then like all the little things I had to do with these ailments that would pop up. But that is when I decided to do Dr. Rawls's Vital Plan herbal therapies, because I did not want something new to pop up in 2 more years.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
And that's
And
really important. That's an important piece of the puzzle is just, we can all sort of get to the point of maintaining. But I think so much of it after that is prevention. And
yes.
and it can go, into a dormant state, which is amazing and
Yeah.
wonderful. But then people can't forget that they really have to stay on top of this. And when we say lifestyle change, we really mean for the duration of your life.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
And
True.
even Dr. Rawls himself still takes the Restore Kit just, on a daily basis, just for the exact same reasons. So,
Yeah.
and about how many years has it been since you started on his program and started making the turn?
So I did the original Restore Kit in the summer of 2022, so 3 years. And now I don't take the therapeutic dose, but I still am on Vital Plan herbal therapy, and I kind of bounce between different regimens. And I really do. I'm at that empowered place, which everybody wants to get to, where you know your body and you know what your maintenance needs to be for this season. And then you can mix it up, and I don't go to my doctor to like be like, what herb should I take now? You're in tune with your body, you're in tune with the supplements that you take and the herbs. And yeah, I feel great. And I actually, I think it was in goodness, I can't even go. I don't even know how far back I have to go, but I actually had to start working part-time back in like 2005. I'm dating myself. I did have Lyme. This is when my thyroid was going crazy. And I never, ever thought I could go back to working full time, even after I was like a little more recovered.
Sure.
But now, like, I am working full time. And I never thought that I would get to that place. And that really was by bringing on the herbs and the herbal therapy.
Yeah, I mean, that just helps take you over the hump, over that
Yes.
last little piece of the puzzle, getting through it. And I'm wondering, did you at the time ever consider putting your children on it?
Both of my kids did the original restore kit. That
Yeah.
actually, they both, everyone's has different journeys, right? So they had different therapies, completely different journeys, different symptoms. At the end of the day, everybody in my family ended up at the restore kit, the original restore kit. And that is like the last thing we all did.
Right.
Right. So it's not like we're not in a rotation of seeing an LLMD anymore. We're not chasing after the next thing. It's just kind of like that was the recovery. That's what the one piece that got us to recovery.
Sure. I did the original Restore kit as well. So I'm a big fan of that. And just recently, I went on, I doubled down a little bit and tried the Restore 180, which I'm just on the, working through almost through the tail end of that because my house was in the fires and there was a lot of toxins blowing around. I had to move to a temporary house, which I'm still in. And there was just so much in the air and I could feel myself kind of on that slippery slope. And I was just trying to avoid a relapse, which I have avoided. So I'm very excited about that. But I could not do something. So the first thing I reached for was the Restore 180, which I'm so grateful that it exists. So I'm glad you're feeling better. And now cut to, you have a new position. Well, you did a podcast helping parents of children with PANS and PANDAS, which I'm sure serves the community so well. And now that you are with Vital Plan, I wanted to know, you know, in your experience as community manager, who is joining the Restore 180 community?
That's a great question. Um, People in the Restore 180 community, they're all on Restore 180. And gosh, it's a big spectrum of people. We have people that have been sick for like 10, 15, 20 years. And then we have people that just got bit by a tick back in April. And then we have people in between. We also, Allie, have people who maybe don't even have the diagnosis of tick-borne illness, but they know based on all of their diligent research and the diagnosis that they might have that, this probably is tick-borne illness. And we have a lot of people just taking that leap of faith, which, with herbs, you're not tying one herb to an illness, right? It can cover a spectrum. So there's so many different people there, but ultimately the people in our community are people who are on that road back to wellness. They are on a journey, they are on a transformational journey, and they don't want to do it alone. And so that is who we support.
That's wonderful. And for anybody out there who is new to the community, Dr. Rawls suffered from Lyme carditis for quite a while and had to get himself back on his feet. He was a very successful, and still is, very successful physician. But I want to just talk a little bit about the fact that, what he says is there's a window, really a window of opportunity to crush it with antibiotics. But then once that window closes, and many times you don't even know you have Lyme during that window, and it's not a very long window. So then you kind of fall into this sort of veil of chronic illness, chronic Lyme disease. And the antibiotics don't seem to do much in terms of that sort of long journey, that long term. So people that are suffering for 5, 10 years, 15 years don't necessarily have to worry about taking an antibiotic any longer. The herbs themselves can really, really help. And they are just as potent, if not more, than an antibiotic. But you don't necessarily have to think that you have to take both. The herbs themselves are designed and formulated and combined in such a way in this protocol that you just worry about consistency. You take them, for the 180 days to help yourself boost up, but you don't necessarily have to take any other protocols. In fact, Dr. Rawls strongly suggests you try his protocol alone and just give your body a break and follow the path for 180 days. I'm so excited to hear that so many people are joining the community, and I'm sure they get a lot more out of it than just, directions and instructions. They're meeting other people. They're having a welcoming person that fields their questions. They're really gaining so much through this program. Tell me,
Yes.
what are some of the most common questions that beginners have for Vital Plan?
Oh gosh. One of the questions is, can I take this, what you talked about, can I take this with what I'm using? Or I am so sensitive. We have a lot of people who have MCAS or SIRS and just are really sensitive. So what if I don't do this in 180 days? And that's okay. And so we always tell people, Allie, that this is what's great about it, is that it is a subscription. So if you need to take your time, it's okay. Like some people can only increase. We have one tincture, which is Biome Boost, Cryptolepis. If you can only do that drop by drop by drop, that's okay. And you can manage your subscription. And we want people to know that you'll still get there. If you have to open a pill and put a little bit in water. And so we actually offer one-on-one coaching calls when you get on board. And so it's that access to the Vital Plan team, because we know that even though this is a foundational program, it's not one size fits all. You might do it a tiny bit different. You're going to maybe titrate up slower, and that's okay. So we want to work with you. And so we get a lot of questions about how to start. And we have a lot of questions about herxing. Is this a herx? What do I do? So we actually also have these group coaching calls, and we do them every other week. And what's great about that is it's access to the team. And like, especially me, I don't have all the answers, but I will get you the answer, right? And a lot of people work in conjunction with their doctors, and that's fine too. Like it's a very collaborative program where you can access us. So we love questions. And what's great about the coaching calls is when our members ask questions and we answer them, you've got 20 other people learning from your question.
That's amazing. And, before such a community existed, I had to go into my own doctor and say, oh, I just got bit by another tick, which happened to me, of course. Um, and I was about halfway through my Lyme journey when I got the second bite, but I literally took all the bottles of my Restore kit into my doctor's office and I said, okay, you work around this, but this I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
And he added a couple of other things in there and I sent me on my way. And it was great. Another thing I want to add though, too, is you talked about MCAS. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's mast cell activation syndrome. So what it essentially means is you might experience a quote unquote allergic type reaction to something. And people that are extremely sensitive and experience in their normal life since birth, they might have experienced hives or itchy outbreaks or skin issues or, sinus issue, whatever it is. What I actually love is that you don't have to give up the whole routine. You could call in to one of these group meetings and say, hey, I'm experiencing this. And then you might be able to get the answers as to what one of those protocol ingredients to back off of. And it's really important that you don't just stop something just because one thing might be triggering to you. And that's what I find really helpful.
Yeah, it's empowering because that's what we want to. We have to expect that there are going to be hiccups along the way. Nobody has a protocol that's just, woo, this has been wonderful.
No.
But it's emotionally taxing and it's really hard to keep going. And so we want to troubleshoot. We want to be able to help you pivot in real time. And so we have these coaching calls every other week, but in between that, you have access to me. I put people on threads with a coach. We always have a health coach on these coaching calls too.
That's
So
amazing.
it is so priceless. I mean, it is really, we listened to the community and also I've done this journey,
Mhm.
right? When I'm trying to troubleshoot something for myself or for my kids, and I'm like, no, I need to know like by tomorrow, and
Yes.
it's very hard to get an answer. And so that's how we make ourselves available for service. And we do it through the platform, which is the Vital Plan Network. And it's just the technology is available now to do these types of things.
And I love that once you sign up to do the protocol, you get automatic reminders sent to you. Oh, hey, we're meeting Tuesday, we're meeting Thursday at this time, have your questions ready or whatever. So you don't have to remember to keep going into the platform. It comes to you, which
Yeah.
is really amazing. Um, can you just tell anybody out there that experience other chronic conditions, what other chronic conditions do you find that the Restore 180 is helpful for?
Oh gosh, great question. Well, people have a lot of different autoimmunes, gut issues, SIBO issues, candida or candida issues. So like for instance, phase 2 of Restore 180 is really into detoxification, resetting the gut. And we do it in community. We go through the Vital Plan diet guide, which can be really hard and challenging when you're on your own because food is medicine, but it can also take us down. So we do a lot of conversation around diet. So you might have gut issues too. Again, tick-borne infections, inflammation. My kids had PANDAS, where you have a lot of inflammation in the brain. Um, but there's a lot of adults that have that too with autoimmune encephalitis. And we've got some members who have that as well. So we have members who have very complex conditions, and we have members, like I said, that just kind of got bit by a tick in April and they were able to get to us quicker. So all different things. We've got members who have MS um, in our community too. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a whole
wonderful.
range.
And I'm sure, EBV and just so
Yes.
many other things. I know that oftentimes everybody experiences a multitude. When I went down with so many other things other than Lyme disease. Lyme just kind of grabbed everybody and was like, let's party and just,
Yeah.
let's all glom on at the same time. It was really hard to separate all that out. But what I love about Restore 180 is you don't have to separate it all out. You can
Right.
just begin and you can allow your body to get to a certain level of wellness where then you can experiment with a treatment here or there or whatever, but you've got your baseline, your new baseline, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, what do you want people out there to know about the Vital Plan community? What sort of um, inspiration can you provide to them? What would you say to somebody that's sort of on the cusp of wanting to try something new, but just not sure, they've never tried herbs before?
Yeah. Um, One of the things that I always do when someone says, I just don't know this is for me, I just link them to our success stories. We have members who are vulnerable enough and brave enough to share their successes, even when they're still in Restore 180.
Mhm.
And for instance, I had this member, Lillian, who she's in month 5. So Restore 180. is 6 full months. She's in month 5 and talked about how her head pressure after like 7 years, I didn't experience this, but she had just tremendous pressure sitting on her head. And she's like, now I can go 6 weeks without head pressure. And then it might come back because you overdo it. You know, it's you might have a little flare and then she'll be down with the head pressure for 3 days, but it's only been 5 months, so it's you'll start to see relief like this. And so we always want to talk about realistic expectations with people. And what a win and an expectation could look like is people saying while they're in the program, I am sleeping more than 7 hours, 5 nights a week. Sleep is so foundational. And that is a big win. And that's what we tackle in phase 1. So you'll have someone who's like 2 months in and they're like, oh my gosh, I started sleeping. I was on a coaching call just yesterday, and this woman experienced, for the first time, I woke up and I was like, oh gosh, I feel a little anxious. And it was because we pulled her out of that sympathetic overdrive that now she could actually realize when it would happen, oh wow, that's not right. That's anxiety. And for so long, so many of us are living with this loop of a heightened nervous system. So when that finally stops, it's interesting to note. So like these are the subtle wins that people are experiencing, and even as early as phase 1.
And yet they're so huge. They're subtle, but getting good night's sleep night after night is massive. And
Huge.
it really just helps your overall immune system. If once you get your gut under control, that's huge. Once you get your sleep under control, that's huge. Once you get your nervous system under control, that's huge. And you're reminding me that, what actually I'm doing the protocol right now, but I'm doing it with a family member because I think what happened was a stressful situation triggered dormant Lyme for them.
Wow.
And so we're doing it together. And it's really, really important that people understand that, that you don't have to necessarily have just been bitten by a tick. You could have had this for a long, long time, if not even possibly born with it. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll talk for a second about what I did with Dr. Rawls, which was a 3-part series on the Lyme Time podcast. And we went through months 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6, and basically divvied them up into a 3-part series. Because with each 2 months, well, really each month, but every 2 months, you're experiencing a little bit of a difference in the protocol. So, but you talk about really calming down the nervous system. That is all within the first 2 months of what he prescribes. And that is all about getting yourself and your anxiety and all of this extracurricular stuff that's going on in your body to calm down, because your body cannot heal before that. And then months 3 to 6 and beyond is about really getting in there. Your body can now possibly handle more, getting in there, a little bit stronger herbs, and then a more maintenance phase at the end. So I just want to throw it back to Dr. Rawls and let everybody know, if you're interested in what you're hearing, please go through the Restore 180 with those 3 episodes, because it's like having him right there in your ear talking about it. Or if you are nervous about starting it, go in and listen to what he has to say and different things that you can expect from the protocol. So Liza, before I let you go, I just want to give you an opportunity to let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find the product, and any last thoughts that you might have for our listeners today.
Oh, thank you so much, Allie. So Restore 180 is available on vitalplan.com, Dr. Rawls's supplement company, Vital Plan. The the app and the platform that our community is on is it's simply an app and it's a Vital Plan Network. It is available on Apple Store, Google, all that stuff. We also just have a website if you want to just use your computer. It's community.vitalplan.com. And we have a free community. So if you just want to come join the community, get a feel, we do lots of webinars, lots of education. Dr. Rawls hangs out there too. You can view our success stories. Now, when you order Restore 180, we have a premium space, and that is where you can really engage with each other. That's where we do the group coaching calls. That's really just above and beyond as far as content, that Dr. Rawls curates, and it's very thoughtful content available in just little clips, like 5-minute, 7-minute lessons that he'll provide every day. And if it's something that you're still thinking about, we always do these complimentary discovery calls with me or Paulette, our health coach. And we are always able to answer any questions you might have about Restore 180 or any Vital Plan questions.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time and your dedication to this community. It's really appreciated. I can't think of a nicer person to be on the other end of a phone call or on the other end of a Zoom when people have real questions, and you're saving them so much time and money in repeat checkups with their own doctors and going in and then waiting 2 weeks to get in to see their own doctor and all of that. This is really like bringing Dr. Rawls and Liza and their entire community into your own living room. And I know that's just so comforting to so many to have you right there at their laptop. I mean, some people are not getting out of bed, but you can be there, right there with them. So thank you so much for your dedication. And everybody, please check out the Vital Plan Restore 180, and you will see Liza over there. Thanks again, Liza, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, Sally.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the LYME Time Podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe on your favorite platform to be notified of new episodes. Remember, this is not intended to be medical advice. Take your findings to your provider to see if something is right for you. No two bodies heal the same, and your doctor knows you and your labs best. You can find out more about the Tick Chicks at thetickchicks.com, and if you subscribe there, you'll be notified of upcoming events like the in-person Losing Lyme retreat that I host. I also have shopping pages dedicated to helping your at-home symptom relief, as well as a private support group. Join the Tick Chicks tribe on Instagram, YouTube, Meta, TikTok, Pinterest, and X. You are not alone.